In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why you're sick, broke, miserable, can't make any money online no matter what method you try, and how to take yourself from that state and transform yourself into an entirely new breed of entrepreneur in my mind. The first thing I want you guys to understand is that every method to make money online, whether that's e-commerce, affiliate marketing, selling info products, coaching, whatever it is, and wherever you learned it or whoever you learned it from, every single one of those methods works. They are ways to make money online, and there are people every single day making millions, either every year, month, or in some cases every single day. The method that you're using is not the fault of your failure. It's not the reason you haven't been able to make it work and make money online. If this sounds familiar to you, you tried something for a couple of weeks, you got all excited, you didn't become rich overnight, and then you kind of shifted over to another thing. Oh, maybe e-commerce didn't work for me, but affiliate marketing is going to work. And you've done this over and over and over again. That right there, unfortunately, is what 95% of these so-called entrepreneurs on the internet seem to do. And even some success that they do have is kind of short-lived. The reason is the world as we know it has turned your mind into a neurotic mess. Guys, I'm going to put this very bluntly. It is extremely simple to make a $5,000 to $10,000 a month income from your own home, wherever you are in the world, with only a couple hours a day of work. And listen, it's also very easy to make a $3 to $5 million a year income only working 5 to 6 hours a day. Now, you may not become a billionaire through that, but that's up to you. That's your choice. You decide what your purpose on this planet is. And the first thing that's really keeping you from activating this different state is your focus and what we call deep work. Deep work is a scientific term for being in the zone. You may have heard people refer to as that before, or being in a flow state. This is the same state of mind that the military will train special forces to go into to make sure they don't have distractions. It's the same mindset that billionaires like Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk or anyone that we kind of look up to as these titans of different industries. This is what they use day in and day out to get these insane amounts of work done. You can have a laser targeted sense of focus and be a dangerously productive person. Like I said, if you understand these principles we're about to go over, it will transform you into a different breed of entrepreneur. And it's what makes my students at my company, which I've actually called DeepWork, a walking fucking nightmare to people that you see on Instagram every single day. So let's start with that. Number one, your phone is destroying your business. Flat up. It's very simple. Between social media, your toxic social life, and all the little bells and whistles and apps that come with your phone are destroying your sense of focus. The first thing you guys need to understand is that to activate a deep work state, you need to focus on one specific task for a minimum of about 2.5 hours. Now, the science on that is still a little bit loose, but if you're able to do that, if you're able to zone in on one single thing and focus and remove all distractions, you essentially are able to access your entire intelligence and your full practical IQ. You know that saying you hear all the time, humans only use 10% of their brain? Well, physically that's not true. It's actually a bit absurd. But we actually do only use about 40% of our active IQ every single day because our brains are fried from your terrible health. Listen, if you wake up every day and your face is all puffy, or your brain is all cloudy and you can't really figure things out, you have brain fog and you're tired all day, you need to do something about that. That's essentially a check engine light from your body that you need to figure something out, and a lot of your mental capacity comes from your physical health. So just basic things. You guys need to make sure you're getting in the gym. You have a relatively low level of body fat, and I can go on for hours about this. Obviously, I'm pretty big into fitness. You guys see me post about it all the time, but the main point is you need to be concerned about your health. But speaking of what we were just going over before, your phone. The first piece of advice that I want to give you guys is actually the one that if I was to be removed from this planet tomorrow and leave one piece of advice to my fellow entrepreneurs or operators in any industry, it's this. Stop making or accepting phone calls of any type. I personally have not made or accepted a phone call in the past 4 years, and you need to liberate yourself from this archaic, inefficient, and unproductive form of communication too. Once you do this, you're instantly going to see yourself become more productive. And listen, the one or two that I made here and there, or as a FaceTime call, I at least didn't try and fool myself into thinking I was productive and busy because I was making business calls and meetings and all this crap. Now, the way you could do this, it's actually fairly simple. I'm going to give you guys a practical tip right here. Now, I have an iPhone, maybe you have an Android phone or what have you, but they all essentially do the same thing. Go into your notifications, you're going to scroll down to the phone app, and it's as simple, I don't know if you guys could see that, as turning off notifications. Then you want to go back into your settings, go back to the regular phone settings, and then you could turn on call forwarding, and then just enter some random number that doesn't exist. Boom, you've removed that from your life. Now, step number 2, open your phone up right now, delete every single app that's on your phone that did not come with it. I'm serious. Either turn off all the notifications, delete all the apps you don't absolutely necessarily need to survive, and then keep your phone on Do Not Disturb. Almost 24 hours a day. For me, while I'm working, this is what my phone looks like. I have 0 apps installed beyond what came with the phone. It's on Do Not Disturb, and this is in a drawer at least 12 hours of the day, especially while I'm working, and I never look at it and I never touch it. This is the biggest step that you could possibly take to activating DeepWork and getting more focus. Guys, I promise you, I've seen complete idiots, whether that's people who come through our programs, people I know, people online, run circles around people with near 4-digit IQs just because they understand this principle of focus. You only need a couple hours a day to, again, build a business that's $5,000 to $10,000 a month. We live in the greatest time in human history, but the fact is your own mental state is preventing you from reaching that through things like your phone. And here's another thing too. Unless for some reason your social media directly impacts your business, if your brand is surrounded around yourself, delete your Instagram profile, delete your Facebook profile, and anything else that is completely unnecessary. Guys, social media, for all the great things it's done, it's connected the world, it's created great movements, and it's liberated entire countries in some cases. It's one of the most toxic things that cripples and destroys entrepreneurs every single day, and I can't stand to look at it. There's multiple reasons for this. Number 1, when those notifications pop up on your phone, your brain is being slowly rewired to think, oh, that's pleasure. I need to give attention to that. Dopamine hit again and again and again. And every single time you look down at your phone, your focus has been broken and you're not in a deep work state anymore. So get it out of the room, delete all the apps, and delete your toxic social media. I think social media is toxic for a lot of different reasons other than the obvious ones that people always talk about. People go on about, well, I know that, people are only putting their best foot forward and I'm only seeing the highlights of their life and this and that. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. Your brain originally is wired to only maintain 50 high quality connections with other human beings. And today we live in an age where, again, for some of the benefits of it, you know what any given person is doing at any given time because they basically live stream their entire lives on social media. That little damage every single day, every single time your brain needs to comprehend something like that, you are 1, taking some of your focus, your intelligence, and IQ away from your business, and it's slowly doing long-term damage because your brain is simply not wired to understand that many social connections and take in all this information. So delete the social media, delete all the unnecessary shit from your phone, and then we're gonna move on to number 2. This is admittedly a little bit extreme, and listen, I understand, maybe some of you already still have full-time jobs and you can't essentially do this entirely yet, but you need to understand that 90% of your social life is toxic for you, and people are stealing your time. Now, as for myself, besides from maybe 3 people, there is absolutely no way on any platform, not Instagram, not Facebook, not text messages, not anything, or even email, to reach me one-on-one. This is a tactic that I kind of took out of the book of Jeff Bezos, who won't even allow one-on-one meetings or phone calls at Amazon because he understands these same principles. While you're working on your purpose, on your business, or the thing that's gonna, liberate yourself, your family, and your team to really live the life that you deserve and change the world, not to be dramatic, you cannot have other individuals stealing your time away from you. There's no way to contact me during the day while I'm at work. And another thing too, for the social media profiles I do have, The only reason I have them is because my personal social media makes my business an extra $35,000 to $40,000 a month, and I'm not going to complain about that. But the way that you need to look at it is this. If you need social media for your business, if it's absolutely necessary, go ahead, unfollow everybody. One thing you'll notice about all my social media profiles, I follow absolutely 0 people. There is nobody that important to me that I need to know what they ate for lunch today or where they're going on vacation. And the few people that are that important, they're either down the street, I already see them regularly, or if it's my significant other, I don't know why I would need to follow her on Instagram to know what's going on in her life. The way I like to look at this is a great quote from Grant Cardone. Spectators pay and players get paid. You need to start transforming your social media into a player's game. You're the one who produces content. You should not be a consumer of this toxic content. The other reason that you need to develop this laser-targeted sense of focus is this. The example I always like to give to my students in our training programs is Elon Musk. During a crucial time in both his companies, Tesla Motors and SpaceX, Elon admitted in an interview that he almost bankrupted both companies because he was splitting his time between 2 things. Now you gotta remember, Elon Musk is a multi-billionaire with near unlimited resources, great rapport with the public, and a near genius IQ, I promise you that. Now, if Elon Musk, genius billionaire Elon Musk, couldn't focus on 2 companies and make them successful, what in God's name makes you think you could do 37? You know exactly who I'm talking about, and this is maybe one of the most brutal parts of this entire video. I want to introduce you to the modern day entrepreneur. Let's call him Chad Broski. I get followed by this person almost every single hour of every day, and you've recognized him before too. And if your profile looks like this, you really need to focus on this video and do something about this. You know exactly who I'm talking about. They post motivational quotes, clips from Gary Vee's show, and photos in front of cars that they've rented to look fancy in videos. And their bio says they are into e-commerce, they're a public speaker, they do affiliate marketing, they're an investor, they're an author, they are a podcast host, they do YouTube videos, they are a consultant, and of course, they are a self-identified influencer. Every single time I see this, I'm gonna be very blunt with you. I say, wow, that person's a fucking loser. And listen, I know some of his teachings, maybe a little bit the antithesis of what I'm teaching here, but one of my favorite quotes from Gary Vee is, "You're not fooling winners, dick." Every time I see that, I know that person is broke, and he's only doing this because entrepreneurship has become cool to some extent. And he's looking for attention, and he thinks because of some of the other influencers maybe he follows, that's the way that you run a business. And that is complete and utter bullshit. And you guys need to really turn away from doing that yourself. My Instagram bio says I'm the CEO of DeepWork. That's what I do. Look at it this way. Let's say you were the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. I don't know, I'm not really into sports. If someone came up to you, would you tell them, hey, I'm a sports player? No, they look at you funny and ask, okay, what sport and what do you do? You would say, I'm the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins football team. But when it comes to business, we could tell people, I'm an entrepreneur. And for some reason, that's acceptable. If someone comes up to you or you see on their profile, or maybe they're on YouTube teaching you how to get rich online, and they can't tell you what their damn business is, there's a 90% chance that they're fake, the person's a loser, they're broke, and they're just doing all this for attention. Now, I keep going back to the point that you could build a $10,000 a month business online only working a couple hours a day, and that's 100% true if you're doing it with this laser-targeted sense of focus. You don't have shiny object syndrome and switching to the latest method when that one doesn't work out for you, and you could actually focus and make that one business model work. The simple fact is the richest and poorest person on planet Earth, and rich can mean a lot of things. You know, prosperity could reach into you have the family life that you want, the relationship, you're helping other people. This isn't just related to business, but I'm kind of focusing on that because that's the majority of my following. The richest and poorest person on Earth has one thing in common: 24 hours in a day. And a great quote from Steve Jobs: you really aren't that much more intelligent than anybody else that you see around you. The world that has been created before you that you look up to, whether you're looking up to Amazon or a Steve Jobs or an Elon Musk or a Mark Zuckerberg or any of these people, They have built those empires because they were both passionate and were able to activate this deep work state and focus. There's a famous story about Bill Gates using deep work. When he first created the first Microsoft operating system, he locked himself in a hotel room, which I'm in right now, or maybe it was similar, and he sat with a bunch of legal pads for 2 straight days, I believe it was, and got it done. There was no distractions. He didn't have a phone in there with him, and he didn't have other people contacting him and doing phone calls and meetings and pretending to be busy. And that brings me to another point. Another sign that someone is a complete loser and they're broke and they're unhealthy and all these other things, and you guys know these people too, is they're always busy. Have you ever noticed that? Always busy running around doing something, running errands, making phone calls, answering emails, talking to this person and doing that. And it's something that I see even some of my business partners really fall prey to, unfortunately. If you are the CEO of a company and you're a business owner, you are supposed to be playing chess, not football. It's the same reason that, our business, just at DeepWork alone, I generated my first $1.2 million in online sales by the age of 24, working a couple hours a day. And that was really the most influential work on that. Now, today, I work on average around 12 hours a day, but that's because it's a choice. I know my purpose on this planet. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I've never been more fulfilled at any point in my life. But the fact is, after around 8 to 12 hours, and here's another thing you guys can understand. Rest is very important. Sleep is very important. If you guys aren't getting a minimum of 8 to even 10 hours of sleep some nights, you are only operating at your tank being half full. You are only using 50% of your active IQ. I promise you that. Sleep, rest, and recovery is very important. The same way that you need to rest after you go back from the gym, the same thing needs to happen with your mind. So if you're not getting enough sleep every night, if you are, again, like Chad Broski, you're just searching for attention and you think, oh, I grinded today and I hustled for 16 hours for 3 weeks straight and look how great I am, you're an idiot. Okay? If you're the CEO of a company, Mr. Chad Broski, the entrepreneur and influencer, you're playing chess and not football. So that's another thing you guys really need to understand. Here's a practical way that you could start removing toxic things from your life, including, if not limited to, people. What I want you guys to do for the next 2 days, or maybe the next 3 days, if you have a crazy schedule coming up, make a spreadsheet, whether that's in Microsoft Excel, Sheets, Google Docs, whatever it is, and I want you to document every single thing that you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed in that spreadsheet for every 30 minutes. Once those 2 to 3 days is up, look at the spreadsheet and color code everything that helps you move closer towards your goals, your financial goals, your business, your charity goals, whatever it is, and mark in red the ones that are sinking your time. Whether that's someone who is always bugging you, always wants to communicate with you, someone who likes to make phone calls, whatever that is, and then start to slowly eliminate one of those things from your life every day until you only have the green mark things left on that spreadsheet. So if you actually want to get serious about building an income online, and you can start doing that right now, you need to lock yourself in a room for at least 3 to 4 hours a day, even if you're working a full-time job. Close the windows, lock everything down, put your phone in the other room, disable social media, or maybe preferably delete your social media profiles, and get shit done. Listen, if you need some help with this when you're just getting started, you can download an app called Self-Control. It'll actually block certain websites that you tend to get distracted by, and your brain will start to be rewired to not get distracted as easily. Once you're able to do this and lock yourself in and focus on something and make it work, then you're finally going to be successful. I know, because I did this too. Listen, I started with $50,000 in credit card debt, a big ass house in Fairfield County, Connecticut to pay for. I know these principles work, and you can ask anybody else who's been successful. Look at it this way. Have you ever heard of or played a video game called The Sims? I remember I got addicted to it a little bit when I was younger. But think about it this way. How come when you're playing that game, it's so easy to get everything you want in that person's life? Why is it so easy to become fabulously wealthy or get upgrades in their house and their cars and their careers and really build this dream life that for some reason you can't achieve in the real world? Now, yes, the time of the game is obviously accelerated, but that's not the only problem here. The reason is you are able to transcend that person's life. You are not in that Sims, that video game character's body, feeling all the pain, feeling the stress, the temptations, to eat terrible food or get distracted by social media and all this negative stuff. And even if you are, it's a simple click to go ahead and ignore those things in the game. Now, listen, if you guys have played that game, you know how it works. You buy a bookshelf in your home, you make your sim sit on the couch and read for 12 hours a day, and then a couple weeks later, boom, your sim is wildly rich and famous and has everything in their wildest dreams. You need to start treating your life more like a game of playing The Sims or any video game in general. You need to optimize the living hell out of every portion of your life. And I promise you, if you do this, you will receive an amount of fulfillment that you've never even experienced before. You know, we see self-discipline as like this painful, like negative thing where it's like, oh, I gotta force myself to do this and oh no, but it's really not true. Self-discipline is the key to success, to happiness and fulfillment, and most of all, to freedom. I've learned this from experience. If you could dedicate yourself to one business model, I'm actually going to link to some stuff down below. If you guys want more information or if you want to take a look at our training programs, go ahead and check that out. But you need to focus and make one thing work. Guys, you can't cheat the universe. There's a certain way things work. A good friend and business partner of mine, Adam Young, says that all the time. I don't know if he can't win it himself or he got it from somebody else, but I love that because it's so simplistic, but it's so true. There's a certain way things work. You can't cheat the universe. And guys, if you see other people out there getting success with selling a certain product, whether that's in e-commerce, affiliate marketing, whatever it is, there's absolutely no reason you can't replicate that and do it too. But you need to focus and have this laser targeted focus on what you're doing and unlock your full IQ essentially and be a dangerously productive entrepreneur. Again, it's why myself and my students are a walking nightmare to these wantrepreneurs like we just took a look at on Instagram earlier. So listen, my name has been Matthew Sabia. I really hope you guys appreciate this. If you want to go ahead, click subscribe down below. I want to try and help you guys out with some more practical videos like this. I also share different business advice. We're going to be doing some travel stuff, and just click subscribe down below if you want to see more of that, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you want, while you're down there, let me know what you're going to start doing tonight to improve your life and start activating this deep work state. So guys, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.